Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you with me again today. If you will, again, like, share, comment on the post, and then let's dig into chapter 19 of the book of Acts in verse 24. It says, "For a man named Demetrius, a silversmith who made silver shrines of Artemis, brought no little business to the craftsmen. Then he gathered together with the workmen in similar trades and said, 'Men, you know from this business we have our wealth.'" Uh, and you see and hear that not only in Ephesus, but in almost all of Asia, this Paul has persuaded and turned away a great many people, saying that gods made with hands are not gods. Well, I think it's pretty clear what the problem is here. We've got a man who's losing his money, and he's not happy. A man by the name of Demetrius. Demetrius, it tells us, was a silversmith, and he made idols. He made, I'm sure, all kinds of things, maybe necklaces and statues and all kinds of things of Artemis. Artemis in the Roman world was known as Diana, which is probably the way most of us are more familiar with it. And in the city of Ephesus, they had built a great temple, great shrine to the goddess Artemis. It was considered to be one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. It was a major tourist attraction. People would come from all over the place to see this temple and to worship Diana at this temple. They come from all across Asia for that. Well, a problem comes up. And like still is the case, when it's a financial problem, it's usually the worst kind of problem. Because Paul was preaching, and it tells us what he was preaching, that the gods made with hands are not gods. If the hands could make them, then they're not gods. And because of that, people stopped buying their stuff. The different things that they made, Demetrius and the other silversmiths, they're coming to Christ and tossing out their idols, and so they're watching not only their religion go down the toilet, which would have been bad enough, but along with it was the income that they were making from this. And people are walking away from this idolatry, and so again, the silversmiths, they're livid, because again, they're both their, imagine something, I don't know what we could liken it to, but if in one fell swoop somebody affected, undermined the religion you practiced and put you in the poorhouse, you can see why they would be unhappy. And evidently Demetrius is a leader among these men. But the real that's the story we have here. But the great piece of this story is, again, to see how how relationship with Jesus Christ changes people's lives. These people, when they came to know Christ, they walked away from something that had been an integral part of their life. Again, it says that to us that as people come to know Christ here, they were turning away from their gods. They were turning away from this religion. They weren't interested in idols. They weren't buying idols. They weren't worshiping idols. That God had changed their life. He had made a visible difference in the people who had formerly worshipped at the temple, and they had walked away, and their life had been totally changed. I think as much as we understand where Demetrius and the other silversmiths would have been upset as the preaching undermined their religion and their income, I think you can also easily understand how impressive that is, that these people, their newfound worship of Christ, their relationship with Christ, transformed them in such a way. Any of us here who have ever tried to go on a diet or to break a bad habit of some kind knows what it takes to change. And these people, their relationship with Christ was so noticeable and made such a vivid change that it affected the income of these silversmiths. I have a friend who took the job, became pastor at a church up in West Virginia, near West Virginia University, there in Morgantown. And shortly after getting there, began to see some movement of God in the church, and he got a phone call from the water department. And they were curious, wanted him to look and see if they had a leak, if something was wrong, because their water bill had just jumped exponentially. And they looked, couldn't find a leak, and then it dawned on them. We've been filling up the baptistry. We've been having to use more water. We've been seeing people get saved and be baptized. And so that was where the change in the water came from. It was so much that the water department noticed the change. That's great. But even more great is when our life changes so much that others around us notice it. We talked in our worship service a few weeks ago about Paul's words, be ready to give a reason to anybody who asks for the lively hope that is within you. Is our life so different that the local silversmiths are having to cut back on their bills because our life has changed? Can people in our workplace, people in our family see that there is a change in us that is noticeable? Think about it. Have a good day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.